Yeah, it's that coming up from the bottom. Day $1, $0 type shit. The only thing I'm ducking is the graveyard. I'm really with the shit y'all niggas play hard. I made it to a boss, I'm selling 8 balls. I came up from nothing, I can never take a day off. The only thing I'm ducking is the graveyard. I'm really with the shit y'all niggas play hard. I made it to a boss, I'm selling 8 balls. I came up from nothing, I can never take a day off. Turn your baby mama crib into a stash spot. And we moving more aggressive than the last shot. Hieroglyphics and
what's up, dude?
Oh, no.
You gonna mute me all
I
day?
had you muted. Yeah.
I know you did. You like that?
I do.
Speaking of turning baby mama houses into stash houses, huh? Isn't that cool? It's fucking cool, man. We got a fun one today. And just like the whole day $1 stuff, man, we got a couple buddies on. This is gonna be a lot of fun, but just to give some context with Alex and Caldwell. By the way, I call you that because I love that fucking name.
I appreciate that.
Love that fucking name.
Yeah, everybody mistakes it with Caldwell Banker. Oh, are you part of that family? And I'm like,
and you're like, hey, bro, I'm
fucking on the beach.
I'm way less rich, but way more fucking cooler. Don't ever say that again.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So Alex Chapman, he's been on before. Good buddy of mine. And when we talk about, man, just like, what was your day $1 how are you still approaching life like it's day $1 I slept on this dude's couch. So when I first, and for everyone that's listening, you guys know my story as far as like branching off from that fitness company after law enforcement. And I was uber excited. Cool, I'm going to do my own thing. And my wife had mentioned real estate. I considered it and I was kind of thinking about it. And then in that transition, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. And Alex is the owner of Fitness on the Rocks. And he's like, hey man, I know you're kind of like thinking about it. We got a big event coming up. I'm falling behind on keeping in contact with vendors. You want to do some sales, make some coin, and just, make a little money for yourself while you're figuring it out. I hadn't even mentioned real estate to him yet. I start selling the fuck out of Fitness on the Rocks, bro. He's like, look, you can have this much percentage of whatever it costs, and hey, if you can charge them more, you can just keep more. And I'm like, oh, charge them fucking more.
Oh yeah.
So I started cranking this thing. He's like, golly, dude. Like, I was hungry, right? I was. But what's fun is during that time, he was also in real estate. He was transitioning his full-time stuff into real estate, and he had casually mentioned it and stuff. And I was like, man, Kate's been talking to me about this, and he goes, bro, you would fucking crush. Mm-hmm. I go, yeah, what do you think? And he goes, done thinking. Go get it. And fucking do it. Mm-hmm. And keep hollering at me. So we met twice about it. In the meantime, Kate had already bought my online course. It was just sitting there. So I did it, man. So when I was first diving into that, helping Alex with some sales and doing his thing, and him giving me an opportunity to crash on his couch for just a bit before I ended up moving into that pantry. Because I couldn't stay in your house forever. Right? You got kids and shit. So I ended up going to a pantry. But man, uber fucking cool for me to see that. And now we're growing. Eli and I are growing and doing our thing and crushing, and some really cool accomplishments we'll kind of get into later on today. But
long
super
road.
Fun. But you guys have a long road. You guys have some funny fucking stories as far as like what you've done. But I always want to just give credit where credit's due. I've mentioned you before in the podcast anytime I talk about my start. And, obviously you guys are here. You're here. So I always just try to like pay it forward, man. And like the guys that like plant seeds, or the guys that kind of help you get started, like you didn't do the work for me. But just planting the seed and pointing a guy in the right direction and allowing the expansion. It's, hey man, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's super huge.
A lot of people don't take we're building a team. You guys are building a team, and it's we can only do so much. You can open the window, you can provide the guidance. If you're not going to go do the work, you're not going to get up early. You're not going to sacrifice your time.
And dude, we're at EXP.
Yeah,
you guys are over at Compass. Like I'm already excited for our foursome selfie, and for this podcast to blow, so people can be like, hey. What are these dudes doing? Like, are they
going to
EXP?
Are they going to Compass?
Hey, wait, is Caldwell fucking Eli? Are those dudes fucking?
Dude.
Wait.
Yep, right? Like, and it's like, hey, bottom line is,
it's 2022, people. Come on. It's all right.
Yeah. And regardless, man, just having winners on and guys doing a great job. And I think you guys are going to contribute a lot to this podcast and everybody else. But just to give you guys a little bit of a platform to speak about yourselves, I think what we should do is, Alex, if you could just go over your past as far as like, hey, what do you feel like your real day $1 was? Mm-hmm. Probably somewhere in like the fitness on the Rocks world,
sure.
Right? Your startup, what that looked like, how you transitioned into real estate, and then like, hey, what are you doing now, and how you still approaching every day like it's day $1. And then Caldwell, man, I'd freaking love for you to kind of do the same thing, and I'm sure at some point we'll hear about the merger of you two.
Yep.
But just giving you guys a platform to kind of the cliff notes of your stories and where you both separately started to where you guys are at now, and what was like that day $1.0 for you, what it felt like, where it's gone to, all that good stuff.
Man, you're getting good you're like Jay Leno of this shit now.
I hope I'm fucking better looking than that guy. When I started hearing that Jay come out of his mouth, I was like, he's going to call me Joe Rogan. I'll fucking take that all day, bro. No, he calls me Jay Leno, the fat car guy.
Nah, man,
But
Jay's an
I feel
icon.
I feel like the intent you had with it was pure.
Jay's an icon. Jay Leno?
He is.
Oh, Leno's a legend.
There was no Joe Rogan without Jay Leno.
You're right.
Exactly.
You're fucking right. You're right. I'll give you that.
No, I think the day $1.0 mentality is I think there's not enough people who have experienced true loss and working hard for something that you believe in and working hard for years without getting paid for a vision and that you believe in. You're trying to get people to follow you.
Yeah, dude, like
And
Fitness on the Rocks.
yeah.
What the fuck was that like when you first started it?
Well, it was just a workouts at a park that,
Yeah.
that my wife and I were doing.
That's
And
like
it was
drastically under describing like what it actually is.
Because we talk about
workouts
our
in a park
podcast.
is some fucking broke trainer with like 8
That was
people
me.
standing around.
That was
That's where
me.
it started.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was me. I mean, it was literally 8 people standing around, and the vision grew. Not to go on a 30-minute rant about it, but to start from 8 people and go to filling one of the most iconic venues in the country at Red Rocks.
You got to dive into that a little bit because podcasts are long form. You do have a couple minutes here.
Do I have a few minutes?
Hell yeah,
They're not gonna shoot me off the stage.
No, man. Matter of fact, what you're about to get into, because a lot of people that do listen to our podcast, one of the number one things we get back from people is that we're still tangible. We're not Andy Frisella. We're not Grant Cardone, where we're so rich. Even if we talk about our past, people, it's just not tangible for people, man, because those dudes are so far. We still feel like we're at an intermediate level where
Telling
we're
the
doing
story
great, but
matters.
it's still achievable.
We're still climbing.
Yep.
And dude, a lot of people are at the phase right now of 8 people in the park, metaphorically in their own business,
100%.
and the growth. So yeah, and I'm sure there's some cool shit on how you fucking. What do you mean you go to Red Rocks and you got how many people? And you started. Where's the drug dealing at? How'd you fucking figure that out?
Well,
Where's the bridge, right?
Yeah, well, it's also this, it's in the details, right, and in the people. Where if you're going to do all the things, so go from 8 people to 13,000 with anything, whether it's EXP with 8 brokers to 1,000 in your downline, and you've got this huge thing from us starting a real estate company with just he and I to doing what we've done at Compass. There's all of these little details that people don't want to do, and so to go from 8 people in a park, and Facebook was just coming up at the time.
Yep.
So it was a lot easier to network then. You could actually reach out to someone individually, and you can still do that, but it's just a lot of people don't want to sit there on their computer or their phone and go through this like maniacal grind of texting and saying thank you for coming. I
Yes.
hope your knee gets better.
Yeah.
And I'm so
bring your
glad you're
sister
saying
next
this
time
because this is where I got my fucking vision for that when you and I were chatting about real estate early on.
Yeah.
When you were growing Fitness on the Rocks, and it was like, hey, bro, you got a message. Anybody liking your post, you got a message.
Yeah,
Everyone liking it. Anyone who comments, you got to comment back and send them a message. However, it's got to be done by hand, because if you go and shortcut it and you copy and paste messages, they'll fucking block you after like 15 messages.
Yep.
You got to change every single message, and you actually have to go in there.
It has to be
So, bro, for
personalized.
hours, like when him and I were first building, right? Like, dude, for hours, I was going in and having non-real estate conversations with everyone, liking and supporting anything I was posting through social media. And it's a 4-hour fucking little work thing in the middle of the fucking night. And then here's what's cool. People will like reluctantly kind of reply. But by the 3rd message back to them, and I hadn't messaged real estate, that's when they actually started having conversations with me, because they realized I wasn't trying to fucking sell them shit. I was just thankful for the support. And I also understood that if we're talking in DMs, you're going to see more of my shit in your newsfeed.
Yeah. They're in
And if
your
I'm
world.
not bugging you with salespeople shit, I'm actually genuinely appreciating the support. You're more likely to continue to support what we're doing and be curious. And then if there is a moment where you can use my services, I hope that you reach out.
Yep.
But it was never predicated on that in the very beginning.
Yep.
You can't fake a relationship, right?
For a little while.
For a little while.
For a little while. But that's also what's cool about real estate, because you're with people for a minimum of 30 days. Minimum.
Yeah.
If you're full of shit, you're not selling shoes, bro.
No.
You're not selling cars, bro. You don't get to fucking pretend to like me and sell me that F-150 or the fucking Bentley you just bought with that suit.
And we were just talking about that.
How you doing? Keep it moving. There is no how you doing? Keep it moving in real estate, bro. If you suck, it's gonna bleed through.
We were just talking about this off camera, before we started here, is you know, so many people, whether it's real estate or business, is you view that person as a transaction instead of a relationship.
You're wrong.
And that is the biggest mistake for any entrepreneur.
And it's not just a mistake as an entrepreneur. Here's the deal. Year to date, you're helping someone make the biggest sale or buy of their fucking life.
Yep.
If you're not in it for the right reasons and you're not a professional at what you do, you're fucking wrong just in that phase. The relationship is the back end. That's the icing on the cake, right? If you're not uber good at what you do, you don't even deserve to have that relationship if it comes into fruition in the first place, man.
Yeah.
Your intentions are big, right? So you're messaging people on Facebook. You're going it like throw a couple nuggets
slow.
out there.
Yeah,
like
it started to go slow, but as opposed to
you gave it away for free first.
for
See
free
how I'm
for
just
years,
throwing your nuggets out for you?
for free for years, and that's how it is. You know, for any business,
Yep.
you're giving it away for free because you're learning it yourself and you're trying to figure out where you are, and you can't charge this enormous amount of money for something you don't understand yet. You know, and so we gave it away for free for 3 years. And
what was your intention? Not to interrupt. What was your intention there? Because being a broke trainer,
Yep.
the balls that it takes to go through that much work and
Yep.
energy and effort and put out, and that's Entrepreneur 101 is, man, there's a lot of output and zero input for years and years and years. What was your initial intention with that, and how did you have that vision?
Honestly, the movie, and I just watched it, I recommend everyone rewatch it, was The Social Network. The creation of Facebook, right? And how they wanted to keep it free, and how Eduardo went out to go sell advertising. And they were like, no, keep this. What Sean Parker was the one that was like, keep this free, keep the party going.
Yeah, because you had vendors that would pay to be there.
Later,
later to put.
I even gave that away for free initially,
just to create the noise.
the community, the network.
And you had that intention starting off.
Yes, we didn't know when to take that turn. It was sort of like this, you know, are there enough people now to try to monetize this? And, you know, so to build the community genuinely, and you're not asking for anything except to follow you, to be part of what this is. And so it was definitely a hard transition to go from doing something for free to now we're going to charge you for it.
Yeah.
Because you set that expectation that this is free.
Yeah.
So we waited a little too long. So if I was to go back and, you know, hindsight's 2020, and I would have charged sooner, I would have just charged a smaller amount, but can't go back, can't change it. It was still fantastic, but it was to build the network.
Well, and so people,
but you were charging like $40.
32.
Yeah,
so people listening, I want people to understand the scale of what Fitness on the Rocks was. If there was an EDC of fitness, this would be it.
That was it.
You know, like this was not a small scale workout
13,000 people at Red Rocks. The DJs were hitting. They were doing exercises every hour on the hour in the actual like auditorium of it. You had vendors there. There was different stuff you could win, like a $32 thing for that.
It was an all-day show. Yeah. And,
it was awesome.
And the venue was just unmatched.
It's
unmatched. And so, you know, there was definitely a lot of components with my brother-in-law and some things that we were, you know, we had the in connections with. However, same thing, like we were just saying, like the window was open, but we still had to go and do all the work. And so, you know, building that community taught me a lot and about how to actually build a network, how to build a following, and how to do it genuinely from an approach where you're not just looking at the money.
And the product was good.
It was a
like
good
the reason
product.
why it's free is you're building a product. You know,
Right.
like when we talk about real estate, we're in front of a lot of realtors and they want to build their brand and they want to market and get in front of people. And I'm like, dude, I love that. Listen. And they ask us, how are you guys so comfortable on camera? How do you guys speak to this and speak? Like, hey, listen to me. We're practitioners. I feel like we're professional in what we do, which allows us to just speak to a lot. You can't like build a brand, but you just have to understand, hey, what is brand? Brand is you. Why do you think companies are out there being proud to say that they've been around for 150 years? Do you understand what it takes to be a brand around for 150 years? You have a good product. It's not right. Like, hey, if you're selling real estate or helping with a transaction and you're not good at what you do, you've got to work on your brand. So like you giving that away for free was like you allowing yourself to just establish a quality product before it ever cost anything.
It is. And the personal trainers to transition into real estate. So after all this work and all of this was built, you know, we reached the top of the mountain of what Fitness on the Rocks could be. And I'd say the day $1 was to reach this sellout, you know, element of, wow, we sold every ticket we could sell. We sold every vendor we could sell. You were there that year.
I was.
And it was to get to that point and know that like, wow, you can't retire off of this. And this is like, all of this work wasn't necessarily for nothing, not even close.
But the money you made
the
was
money
not what
wasn't
people,
there.
Yep.
And so to reach that mountain and go, oh shit.
Yep.
Like this isn't what it is. Now I have to climb back down and figure something out. We went through some things right after that show. I think this was 2017.
Yeah.
Somewhere around
2017.
Yeah.
And afterwards I went on this long trip, and he and I were connecting a lot at this time. And he was at iHomes, Colorado. That's where we both started our real estate careers, which at the time was just a great real estate school. And we learned how to do the business, but knew that there was something more to this. And so we were talking, and I was like, shit, I need to get out of some financial trouble. The only business I'm in is real estate. I need to go sell a shit ton of homes. And really it was just to pay for the mess that I had just created with Fitness on the Rocks. And so I was like, I'm going to go all in on this, and realized, wow, the skill sets acquired over all this time with human connection is so applicable to what real estate transactions are. And so if anyone's watching this that's a personal trainer or a waitress or bartender, we intentionally recruit a lot of people from those industries because they're so good with just like the psychological IQ of human connection.
Get it?
Yeah,
talking to people.
There's just one thing that they have to be super fucking careful about. You don't shortcut your fitness. And when you're talking to people you train, and the work and the attention to your diet and your macros and your calories and your consistency, all of that to make a physique, you know all that stuff. You can't come to real estate and then shortcut the business aspect of it. It's got to fucking build a certain way. And you've got to stay true to like what you already know. And Eli speaks a lot of that. Eli was in the fitness world, if you guys can't tell, for a long time.
We all were. We all were.
Yeah, but some of us came out looking better than others,
we
right?
all
Like,
were. No.
I feel like Alex and Caldwell and I were like the dudes that were like showing up like hungover, doing fitness classes, sweating out fucking tequila.
We trained.
Eli was like just a
No
fucking...
way. No way. No way.
It's because you're Greek. Where do you get that booty from?
Jewish, bro.
Fucking hell,
Jewish
bro.
Jews. Yeah, that ain't it. That definitely ain't it.
No, man. So
Alex,
let's-
real quick, I want to talk a little bit more. You mentioned recovering from that.
Yep.
And I think that would be some great perspective, because what were you recovering from? Were you in financial debt? Like what
Big
did
time.
that look like?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it was dead broke. So when we started, and so to go right into from this enormous loss.
Caldwell comes down. He's super good looking. He's probably got wings on his back.
He relocated.
The fucking clouds part. He comes down. He comes down with his wings, speaks to you,
Yes.
saves you, and introduces you.
No,
to real
really.
estate.
Yeah. No. It was, we were both in the business, and we took an enormous risk, being broke, being scared, but we did have a product, which was real estate, and we did have a vision of we need to sell it. We don't know how to go chase it. We don't know what we're going to do or how we're going to approach this. We just know that based on our skill sets and what we've learned over time, that, okay, let's put our back against the wall. We have $0 and we're just going to go to work.
Go learn.
We're going to go learn.
Go shut up and learn.
So we partnered up, and that was this moment. I think we talk about it all the time. So it may not have been day $1 but it was like $458. I think I had in my checking account.
Close
And
enough.
I'll never forget looking.
yeah.
Well, $458 when you have a mortgage, two kids, car payments, health insurance, or whatever. I think
A ton of debt that you like.
tons of
for
debt.
whatever it is.
Oh my gosh, tens of thousands. And so we, he was just, I think he'd just gotten married as well. And it was like,
That doesn't help.
no, I mean, you have this enormous
Tons of pressure.
weight on you to be a provider. And so to have all of this responsibility with only, less than $1,000 truly to your name.
Yep.
And you learn right then who you are, what you're going to do, and how many punches you can go throw. Right. And so it's that mentality in like fitness where your mind is going to shut you off.
So where was
Not
this
your-
time frame compared
This was-
to when like you were talking to me about doing real estate?
This was after. So this was
So you were broke when you and I were doing
Yeah.
Fitness on the Rocks.
dead broke.
So you were dead broke telling me to do real estate. You ain't even figured it out yet. That's an awesome friend. That's hustler to hustle. Like, hey, bro,
He believed.
there's a lot
I
of money in
just
this
knew.
game. Not sure where it's going to turn, but the motherfucker's going to
No,
turn
see, we saw the money being made.
for sure.
We were just at
No,
the
I'm just
wrong-
busting balls.
We were
Of
just at the
course,
wrong company.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where you go somewhere and you see other people in the office doing very, very well, and you size them up as you would, and you know that you're equally or even more talented than these people,
Yep.
and they're 10xing you and in income. And so that's when we said, well, fuck this. Like, we're going to go do this. And so, you know, we learned how to make the pizza dough. Now we want to go open our own pizza shops. And so we took the recipe and some education that we had. And I think Kris took out like $5,000 or maybe 10,000 of like credit card debt. And was fuck it, like, let's just buy leads.
He looks mature. He's good looking. He speaks well. Like, hey, out of all of us, you can go lie to the fucking bank.
No, they gave it to him.
You don't want me pulling that shit off.
He was the only one with good credit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And so, you know, we knew each other, but we weren't brothers yet. It was just a trust that we had. And so there was a deal that came to fruition. We're going to leave this off camera because we don't want anyone to get any hurt feelings out there, but there was a deal that came to fruition. He calls me. He's like, dude, we're going to split this deal 50-50. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so we sat down with one another and we said, look, we're going to split any deal that we make. I have a family to feed. You have a family to feed. Let's just, if I sell something, you take 50%. If you sell something, I'll take 50%.
It's a huge commitment, bro.
Oh, it's a marriage.
Yeah.
Right then, similar.
Right then we put the rings on each other. And that was my work husband, work wife, whatever you want to call it, right? Just like you guys are.
It's true.
Ours were cock rings. Don't think too far into that. You guys just did normal? You guys did traditional rings?
You guys went all in. Got it. But you guys went all in. So
you guys are the mature Mormons. Him and I were like the kids that left the Amish properties at 18 and like never came back, and we're just fucked up.
Oh man.
So it was that first closing we had. I think it was like $8,000 or something. But to us,
dude,
we split it up. It was like $3,500 a piece. It just covered our bills. So we had a lifeline. We had a life raft. We could make it another 30 days, right? So we went all in, and you know, I hate to say like that was that, but right then and there, we made a decision that we weren't going to give up on each other.
Yeah.
And so the commitment I had to him and the commitment that he had to me, as far as, well, if I sell something, you get it. If you sell something, I get it. We're also so competitive.
You're accountable.
That I couldn't have him sell 10 houses.
You'd feel bad.
And give me all the money and I'm fucking off and vice versa. So it was this, and right then and there was a few other really good people who were still crushing this industry. We launched a company together, and geez, I mean, it was just like a fucking rocket ship.
So that was all like within what, first 2 years or so for you guys?
Not even. I mean, this was late August 2017. And by January 1st of 2018, we were in a completely different tax bracket. We were, you know what I mean? And what's funny,
taxes. I've heard that word before.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But our lives changed. And it wasn't because, oh man, we figured out a way to go make some money and fuck people over. This was, we believed in a product. We used our skill sets. We believed in each other, and we were helping our clients, and we believed in helping our clients. And on top of that, we worked relentlessly to go and do this. That sounds like us,
man. Like, we're super proud. And remind me to talk about, because I'm curious to think when your and I's changed as a marriage. But before we go down that road too far, like, I want to kind of hear your start prior to Alex, what you were into, what you were involved into, just so we can tie your day $1 some of that context from you, and then marry that up to like where you guys got together.
And how you got your license, what you were doing.
Oh shit.
Because I couldn't have done it this way.
I know how you got yours. I was, dude, and you got to remember too, like, just me coming from like the Marine Corps infantry world, the special operations world, like certain accreditations and pride in certain stuff, and like studying and being proficient, and then just like, that was fun hearing about yours. And I was like, oh, I'm overthinking this way too much. Like, fuck yeah. And then, but it also like some of what you were speaking about, especially when you're first starting, man, and you're a little insecure and you're trying to figure it out, just people telling you the bare boned version of how they did it, and it's like, and fucking up or whatever, and like retaking a test, like, it gives you permission to get after it.
How many times did you take it though?
Once.
See, you took it once too.
What did I take?
The real estate exam.
I did my but I took my state
once
twice.
Too?
So I got my
I
national.
took it 6 times more than you guys.
So I got, well, mine was 1.5 because I did my national.
There you go.
Pass it, and I missed a state by a question.
Yep.
Went back and passed it. So I'm 1.5. But you got yours sooner than mine. And there's something to be said about, hey, are you here to get a perfect score on your fucking exam, so you're going to take 9 months to study, or are you here to be a fucking broker?
And
See how I got you back?
and I know that you're about to go into this, but one thing he and I preach all the time is there's a difference between the folks that have taken the roads we've taken. Mm-hmm. So all the people we're training and bringing up, we're sort of like how we are with our kids. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You know, we're giving them everything that we never had. Mm-hmm. And
you got to be careful.
You do have to be careful because you're enabling them. And there's always going to be this like, well, why don't I have what you have? Well, like, you didn't do what I did.
You got to create friction.
Dude, that's why I love hearing, like, man, you were doing this Fitness on the Rock shit, no ROI, 3 years, busting fucking ass, all for a vision, you know.
Yeah. We're talking fucking 1 a.m., Adderall, setting shit up,
like
bro.
At least in real estate, you had...
I'm like, what's this? You'll be up.
I still have PTSD.
Dude, at least in real estate, you could see some fucking schmucks that were crushing, right? And you're like, okay, it's possible. In Fitness on the Rocks, man, you didn't have that vision. It was just, hey, I think this is going to be something.
God, and I wish I would have known how revolutionary it was, you know, because it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, really but the only people that were piping up were the people that wanted to fucking buy you out of it and rape you on it.
I wish I would have sold it.
Oh, yeah.
I would have fucking made it. I would have made some money, but go ahead, Christopher.
Yep. So you've been perfect since the start. Like, we get that.
Does have the whole Captain America thing going on.
He's got like the AJ Hawk look going. Like, all right, so you're middle linebacker, outside linebacker, Green Bay Packers, Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, for sure.
Got it.
No, man, the story.
By the way, no, fuck that. Fuck that. You don't get introduced. I introduce Alex. I'll introduce you. This fucking guy. We meet for the guy. You know how a fun story. This fucking guy. We go have lunch together. We finally meet, right? Because like Alex and I have known each other forever. You guys are now married though.
Oh yeah,
but now I'm also married with Eli. Yep. So I feel like you and I are introducing our new wives to the old wives. Right? Like, hey, cool. So we're having lunch and stuff. Super fun, man. Like we're looking at watches together and eating, and it was fucking cool. And like, I'm like, man, Caldwell, just a good dude. Fucking high energy, but humble. You know, like confident. Loves to speak about what he wants to speak about. But man, when you're confident in your own right, when someone is comfortable to speak and have a good time, you don't take it like they're stuck up or self-centered. No, man, super humble because he also takes time to listen to what I have to say. We had a lot of fun. I'm like, oh, dude, like, meeting Alex's new husband, like, it's cool and whatever. And like, right at the last fucking second, he sneaks a fucking curveball in. We're all leaving. He gets me off guard, like, and he just fucking picks me up for a hug. And he yokes me off the ground.
Jesus Christ.
And I feel like a helpless midget. That just can't, like, it was off guard. I could not prevent. And he picks me up like it was no problem. He just wanted me. He wanted me to see how much stronger and more proficient the new husband was, and he snuck it in at the fucking end, right in front of you. I didn't want to make a scene. We're in downtown Cherry Creek. I can't make a scene.
Well, when I met
this guy
Chris,
is so clever.
When I met Chris before, and as we get into this, so I met him through in 24 Hour Fitness, and I was like, "There's no fucking way this guy has this much energy and is this positive and this kind and this genuine all the time. Mm-hmm. It's impossible." Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, well, now 7 years later, it's not.
You start getting to know the guy just to see where he's dirty.
Well, 7 years later, you know, you realize that this is who this guy is. And so it's a lot of people get almost like it's not a genuine approach, or this guy is putting on a front of there's no way he has this much energy, and it's real.
He's genuine, and there's no front. But listen,
it's a real bundle of joy.
However, you're taller than me. You're better looking. You didn't have to pick me up and show how much stronger you are.
Stop.
He just wants you to know you can put all your weight on him if you need to.
Yeah, No, he wanted me to show how much more prepared the new husband was for taking the. And I'm like, that's fine, but I will say, like, my new husband's got the best physique on the planet, so I shouldn't even be worried about that.
I appreciate that.
I mean, you got to give yourself credit, and that's why I was picking you up. I was like, man, I know you've been working out hard. Like, you felt like a lot.
See how he just condescends me with a compliment? That's how you know someone's great at sales, because it bleeds out so naturally. You actually start listening to the bullshit, and then you don't catch it till a minute later. Like, I feel good about the condescending language he gives me. Like, thank you, Caldwell. But so back to your story, man. Like, prior to Alex and how you got started in real estate, and prior to that, like, what was life looking like? How did you venture in?
Yeah, you know, for sure, it's been a journey. Geez, and it's been a journey of discipline, honestly, because I came from a corporate background. Played football in college, and then got a finance degree. Worked for a bank. Worked for Chase in Chicago. Knew I wanted to come out here. Transferred with the bank. Wasn't happy in the financial realm. Making good money as in the corporate world, but just genuinely unhappy, chasing that 9 to 5. And
Yeah.
Getting promoted, and that was all great and all, but I was just really unfulfilled. And just going back to my sports background, I was super passionate about fitness.
What was your sports background?
Basketball and football my whole life.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't water polo. Right?
Those guys are pretty jacked too, though. I don't know.
Yeah, those guys
He's
are
fucking
those guys are
big, dude. He's outside. What position did you play?
Wow, man. Big.
You're
I don't
strong.
feel big.
Fuck yeah, you're big.
Oh, thanks.
Strong
dude.
as shit. What position did you play?
Outside linebacker.
See, didn't I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, chasing little guys down like you and just crushing them.
Fuck yeah. Crushing them. Fucking crushing them. Yeah, I get it.
But it's so funny. You when you look back at your life and I think about like now and just comes some of the conversations I've been in and just like huge kudos to you guys of like what you've accomplished and with this podcast and your business. And it's so funny. I was talking to a client about this who was asking me, she's older. I'm actually helping her now. She's amazing. But she got referred like an experienced agent, been in the industry 20 years, but, does like 8 deals a year, but, knows what they're doing. And, obviously we're doing, 10X that. And she was asking me about my experience and like, my social media and this and that. And I was like, wow, that's so funny. Cause the way I grew up was, you work hard, you're disciplined, you have success, but you don't brag about it. And this is such a different industry now where it's like, hey.
It is, but it isn't. And it's like, and this is where like, just to give you some, like where him and I've gotten with it is like just giving yourself permission,
Absolutely.
right? To be, cause like, and just trust it. You have to have a good circle around you. And you have to trust your own intent and your own tuition of, hey, why are you posting this? Why are you saying these things? And for me, it's been huge to like,
are you
like,
real?
So like, for example, I post a house that we're buying. It's a $3 million house. And I post it and I get a lot of support, get a lot of, hey, oh, that's amazing. That's this. And I had a lot of really good conversations on Instagram because I said, hey man, no, it's not. It's possible. Hey man, it's not amazing. It's possible. And sometimes people just need permission to go out and do some things. And
100%.
The intent of showing what I'm showing is not for the clout, even though there's some clout to it and you're going to get some congrats. Fuck yeah, bro. And you see it and you trust that their intent of congratulating you is pure, and you have to see that. But hey, people are also going to like take it a certain way. And I had other comments with that. And it's like, hey, what I started realizing was if there's a negative comment toward that, it's like, how well does this person know? How well do you know me?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because are you giving me benefit of doubt with my history in social media of my intent? And if you're not, is it, okay, but how well do you know me? And then what of your own bullshit is giving you a lens to then think that I'm doing it for this reason? And it's more so their own bullshit that they're going through, their own issue versus yourself. But man, we have had so many people reach out. We had a guy reach out today. We've been helping in real estate that's in our network. Made $130,000 this year, bro.
Well,
Cranking his YouTube channel.
The context is he was scared to leave his $40,000 a year job.
Dude.
And he was doing the whole part-time thing. So there's a lot of conversations of like, bro, set that date and fucking commit to it. So he sent us his two W-2s today.
He said, hey guys, in an appreciation for what you guys do, how you have helped me with me and my family. I remembered when I was, because I was video calling him one day because he wasn't quite getting on to like his accountability, what he should be doing.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, remember when I was video calling me on Instagram and I couldn't pick up because my boss was telling me to do something and I was finally able to talk in the stairwell. So he called me back 5 minutes later. I was scared to leave that job, not going to lie. But it's crazy to look back. I was scared to leave a $45,000 a year job. Here's my W-2 for half the year. We're helping him with his YouTube channel. He's in our network. Made $130,000. And he's just like, hey man, it's that. But here's the deal. If we don't show, because we're in sales. Sales are relationships if you have integrity, correct? But at the end of the day, it is a parameter of success. If I can't show you what's possible, why the fuck are you listening to me? You just have to trust that what I show and what I speak to comes with integrity and the right form of intent, right? And like, I'm sure for a guy like you, man, when you come from, especially football with hard work, don't say nothing. You crack the fuck out of somebody. However, when other guys are seeing you crack a guy that hard, they're seeing what's possible. It's the same thing in a different spectrum, right? So now that you're transitioning into social media, getting back to your story, like it's giving yourself some permission on that, right?
Yeah, big time. And that's, that's a big part of our journey this year is, we climbed this mountain, but we want more people to know about it. And, we're excited about it, because we built it the right way. And that's what was super exciting, working with Alex and meeting him. And it's so funny, we met at 24-Hour Fitness. We're both, general managers and, climbing that corporate ladder again. And, he was giving me kudos, like he's got energy in this. And I remember meeting Alex for the first time. He's like, and I was thinking to myself, this is the only guy who could compete with me.
Let me speak to that because I agree. That's how I see Alex.
Yeah.
I'm a hard work, fucking discipline. Like you and I are very similar, right? I left sports, played a little bit of pro sports, and then Marine Corps, right? Eli's got some of this in him too with some of the stuff he's great at. He won't take the credit for it, but like, I feel like you, like energy, discipline, we see where the results come from. This fucking guy, you're like, you see where he's at and you go, he fucking makes it look so easy. Like the fucking guy just shows up and he's doing some shit.
Yep.
But he's also fucking talking it like, how the fuck does this guy do it? Because it's so smooth, man. It's like, it's effortless, right? It's like a running back that's like Mike Allstott. Discipline, running through shit, and a lot of energy. And then you got a guy that just somehow seamlessly makes people miss. And it looks like he's not even running that fast, but he's passing everybody. And you're just like, and that's what he reminds me of, is like, you're never quite sure like what the dude's up to. He makes it look so easy, which also makes you feel like, oh, and I'm barely beating this guy, or I'm just behind this guy, but it doesn't even look like he's trying. Like, God, I hope he doesn't turn it on.
I'm gonna try this year.
Shit.
I'm just
Seriously.
kidding.
Yeah, watch out.
Seriously.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I try.
Dude.
I work.
Well, I remember this one time we're in this corporate meeting and Alex, we're just bullshitting, but before the meeting starts, and he's in the row in front of me, and he just, I don't know why he did it, but he just turns around and he's just like, secrets make friends, bro. And I'm like,
He said what?
Secrets make friends.
Oh, secrets make friends, not secrets don't make friends.
Yeah.
It's secrets make
Secrets
friends.
make friends.
Well, we were probably talking about some
How to do
some
something.
stuff, and
Well, we were probably talking about like,
Sales.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll call it
like,
that.
we'll call it overrides and like, hey, how to.
And because he's got the how-to or the tricks,
Yeah,
it makes
for
friends
sure.
because then people come seek out how you're doing what you're doing.
Well,
and it tracks.
because this is why Alex and I work so good together. Because I came from like that banking, black and white background. A
lot of red tape.
Yeah, a lot of red tape. XYZ. You follow these policies and procedures all the time, and this is how you have success. And then Alex comes from a very entrepreneurial background,
And he's like, look.
of like, this is how you figure it out. This is you make sacrifices. You give away an event for free for 2 fucking years, make zero money. But then you climb and you're building something else, and you build that network.
He comes in, he's like, hey, see that health insurance on the table? Kick that off. We don't need that yet.
Yep.
We don't need that till we're paying taxes. Stop being a pussy.
Yep.
Absolutely not. But then, so then you're working at 24 Hour Fitness, and then he transitioned into real estate, and then I got a promotion and moved down to Texas for a little bit. In this interim, I'm dating my now wife, Patricia, God bless her heart. Thank you for putting up with all my bullshit.
Thank you, Patty.
Yeah, and then just thank you for supporting me.
Thank you for thinking your wife before all of us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He is good.
Yeah. I wouldn't be here without you. So we moved to Texas, and we quickly find out that our heart's in Colorado. I'm from Chicago originally. I moved out here because my heart was in Colorado anyway. But then again, you're climbing that corporate ladder. You're making moves just because you have to.
Yep.
Because the people who want to be in Colorado have been working for the company for 15 years, and they're not going anywhere.
And that's just how it goes. It's like, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And then I'm like, okay, we need to get back to Colorado. That's where we want to be. It's where we want to raise a family. And then I started looking at opportunities. I'm like, am I going to get into medical sales? I've got guys in all sorts of industries. And then our guy over at iHomes Colorado, I'm like, all right, I'm going to come work for Justin.
Yep.
And he hires me as his buyer's manager. So because I've just got a lot of managerial experience, leadership.
Sure.
I love coaching people. There's no more fulfillment for me, and I see it in you guys too, just with lifting people up to where you're at, showing them what's possible.
Yep.
So I come out and be the buyer's manager and start, just running as hard as fucking possible. I think I closed 10 deals in a matter of, there was, got my license within 1 month while training the other
hell
agents.
yeah.
Yep.
Closed
While a district manager at 24 Hour Fitness.
Hell yeah.
Tripling it up.
10. That,
Alex was like, no. There's no such thing as double dipping, dude. Just no,
Quit your job.
That's Eli.
All good.
That's
All
Eli.
good.
jump
Hell
all
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Man, and that's the story of like a lot of entrepreneurs.
So you were
right?
doing that, and like just because we have context in real estate, him and I do. Obviously, we do the same thing you guys do. You're helping people close all these fucking deals, but you're not getting paid on the deal.
No, zero.
Got it. We'll leave it at that, right? Like I'm not
Yeah.
trying to start any shit, but what
of
you
course.
started seeing, hey, it's cool to
There's
train
opportunity.
people,
Yeah.
but what if I influenced myself and started doing some things, and
Yeah.
then get my own backbone going while simultaneously training people.
Yep.
And if I'm not working at 24-hour fitness anymore, I'll have time to produce for myself and still help people produce for themselves and make boatloads more. Cliff note.
100%.
Got it.
100%. And that's what I realized too. I was like, you know, and you guys know, and it sounds like you talk about this all the time. It's like you just jump in.
You have
got to
to.
go. You got to. And Alex said this as an entrepreneur, and I just heard it all the time. You build a parachute on the way down.
Yep.
But you got to take the leap.
Yeah.
And you got to have the courage.
And you're
to make it.
restricting yourself. Like I know when people think about the transition, it's like, hey, you're not burning the ships. If you're going to still keep your other job and you're not going in all in on this, and like that's always going to be a safety net for you. You're always on the gravy train of whatever other job you have. Here's two things: you're either not in it, and that's okay, or hey, you're afraid of whatever you may be. But like that, those golden handcuffs that you have to go spend 8 hours a day on, it's restricting you from your progress here. And if you're even doing any deals part time as an agent, that's already enough evidence, if you even need any at all, to realize, hey, if I'm putting all my time and commitment and I'm burning the ships and I'm not giving myself any exit, right?
Oh yeah.
Hey, where can that go? And it's restricting you.
Yeah. Well, then it was.
By the way, we don't build a parachute on the way down, not from 30,000 fucking feet. See that shit? Fucking
We proved you can do it.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
guys.
I don't want to do it again.
See, now being that high up, you have so much time to be able to
Yes.
shoot on the way down.
I feel
right?
like I'm the only
Yeah.
one that's jumped out of a plane in this fucking
You
room.
are. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
However, I have had guys ask if they remembered to pack their reserve, and like they just laughed and had no answer for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is some
Maybe.
cowboy shit there. I'm busting balls. I do understand the analogy, but it is true. It's like, and let me just give a little bit more, like, just to talk to that analogy, because it is a good analogy, but it can be taken out of context.
Definitely.
What you're really saying is, hey, stop trying to build everything and have
Still
it all.
need a plan.
Yes, but stop trying to build everything and have this game plan before you get started. Because here's the deal. Once you get started, that's where you actually start getting real data on what's working, what's not working. So if you're going to try to build this parachute, before you even jump, you don't even know what kind of parachute you need. Because you don't know what this market and where your strengths play to and what it looks like or doesn't look like for you. And if you're not flexible to make audibles and to pivot where you need to pivot because you're so stuck in this framework or whatever you've got, you're not going to survive. So I definitely understand what you mean. It's like, hey, so many people try to build the parachute before they jump, and it's like, hey, the fact that you're trying to build, like the whole paralysis by analysis, right? Like,
I like the ready, fire, aim analogy in the sense of, hey, take a
I
shot.
love all the backwards military
Take a
comments
shot,
we
see
have
where
to-
it fucking lands.
Yeah, no.
Make some adjustments.
No.
And go
Yes.
from there.
Entrepreneurship? Yeah, fuck it.
Well,
real tactics?
and I
No.
think,
Yeah.
and I think what I mean by like, and this is like my perception of, looking back at like jumping out, building the parachute, that's more belief. Mm-hmm. That's the belief to like that you need to like go
Here
do
comes
something.
the Christian out in you too. I love that. No, for real, right?
Yeah.
Belief and having conviction in what you're doing, right? Yeah.
100%. And you're just like, hey, I know I can do it. I'm going to give my permission to myself to do it.
Bet on yourself,
and I'm going to
man.
make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking to you about this before, and it's just so true. Discipline, right? I know I have the discipline, and it's the bridge between who I am and who I'm going to become.
Yeah.
And jumping out of that plane, there's your belief, there's your first step. And then like, our story, I think about like, day $1 having a couple $1,000, betting on ourselves. I remember just being in an office with Alex like every single day, till 10, 11 o'clock at night, looking at our pipeline, like looking at every single person. Every person matters.
And it wasn't big.
No.
Yeah.
Dude,
But it was.
Yeah.
But it was.
big to us.
It was big to you.
Yeah.
But having that
We're
having that
starting that fire.
mentality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, block the wind.
Yeah.
Dude, it's cool, man. Like I remember, like, and so Eli, I want to hear. He's so modest, by the way. He always just loves enjoying people's conversation.
Hanging out,
But
bro.
I'm super curious. Like, when did you? Not when I was like tossing salad. That's when did you and I like? When was our marriage established? You think?
I remember, so pretty quickly it started off with me just realizing like, oh man, like you have a lot of everything that I don't have.
And just context, right? Because these guys probably don't know. When I bounced from my homes, I hit him up because he was starting a team.
Yep.
And I saw what he was doing on video and some different things. I knew all the video and throwing events from the fitness company I was with, right? It was Fit Republic, and we crushed that, right? We grew a ton of stores. I'm like, hey, I need to lean on my strengths. And a lot of people aren't doing that in real estate, but this works. I know it works because it works with people and it works with culture. And so when I went over to him, he was just starting a team. And I had no idea Berkshire was owned by Warren Buffett. I never even heard of Berkshire before. Didn't give a fuck. It's about the people.
Oh, yeah.
And I just asked to join his team. So that's where him and I started.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
hey, dude, I just want a spot on your fucking team. I love to learn. But you're already starting to do a little bit of what I already believe in.
Yep.
So I know I won't get kickback for what I want to do. I said, man, I just love a spot on your team.
Well, and for me too, like I've always looked at, even when I came into real estate day one, I always had a vision much bigger than buying and selling homes, like of being on stage and talking and helping, and these people that I admired, like Grant Cardone's and Gary V's. When I met Will, I was like,
Oh, God.
oh, you have all these traits that I don't have, that a lot of these guys that I look up to and admire do have, right? And a lot of them are unreasonable and unrealistic. And you look at Grant Cardone, and you're like, you're fucking crazy, bro. You know, but it's like, this shit's fucking working. And when I met Will, I was like, you're fucking crazy, bro. Like there's so
I think
much.
he actually said that.
There's so much shit about you that like I see in these other guys. And because I had that vision already, like real estate, not a means to an end, but a vehicle to get there.
So what he means is you're hard to swallow, you're rough around the edges, no one fucking likes you, and you don't give a fuck. Fuck yeah.
Dude,
And
that's
it was
a recipe.
It was opposite to him because he's not rough around the edges, uber likable,
Yep.
uber smart, never raises any problems, right? Like that's probably what you want to say.
But I also
Eli fixed me.
I also understood. I also understood that there was just man, I needed that in my life. You know,
Yep.
like I really just, he had this edge that I just didn't have. So we started off just initially saying like, hey bro, you ain't doing fucking leads. You're managing agents. I need help with that, right? Accountability and all that shit. I'm not good at that. So he started doing that. And then, man, it was, my dad had started working for us, just tracking our numbers,
Here's what happened. You're giving me too much credit. The team that he built wanted leads. He was like, all right, cool. I've done some stuff before. Let's start dabbling in it.
Yep.
And he's really good at systems and processes and back ends, right? And like he saw I was calling 0 fucking leads, but I was doing 5 deals a fucking month.
Yep.
So he politely was like, hey man, you're super performing. Like, hey, we should do something different. I'm like, yeah, bro, you're right. Because
Yep.
I ain't calling him. Like I just, and I'm not against him. I know the workload and I'm onto something here. And like, I'm just tripling down on my strengths and what I'm good at. And like, okay, good to go. Right. Like, but you know, I was a bad kid in class. He should have put me in detention because I wasn't calling no fucking leads.
But yeah, it was shortly after that, man, that we were just, I remember like there was a time that we were just like going through numbers and shit with my dad and stuff. And it was just like, why don't we just fucking partner up? Like, why don't we just partner up on everything? And it was literally just that meeting in our office, and it was just a real casual thing that came up.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of how it started. It's a very similar thing of like, hey, let's just fucking roll.
Organic.
We started splitting our deals, but we were also splitting the production of the
Do you
team.
guys split them up 50-50 too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, I don't know
Trenches.
anyone else. I don't know anyone else that does that.
Every single one. So not only do we split all of our deals, but he was also giving me half of the profit from the team.
Well, and you were running, you were still managing them and doing all that.
Yeah, we were doing accountability meeting. Like that's where like my military
Man,
background.
it takes so
and-
much trust.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
much trust.
And like, but I'm man, like that's me. Like, cause for me, man, like from a young age, from a proficiency age, it was like, you know, hey man, if you're not good in your leadership with your integrity, your proficiency, and in your managing your own load plus everyone else's, like people die. That's just mine, and I never want to let that go. What I had to let go was articulating it the same way in the civilian world. It's probably not the same. You got to be a little different, but like we challenged him, man, and we worked him hard, but we were great at just getting the most out of everyone. But the fact that he was able to do it, his company wasn't big yet.
There's
But
two
it's-
agents, yeah. It's
Yeah,
nothing.
but dude, it's so sensitive when he first started. Like I appreciated his ground up and what he was doing. So when he decided to split the team with me, and we were just splitting all of our deals, I bought him a computer, and I just wanted to commemorate like first of all, he had one from like 1988. It was
I had a
huge.
2004 MacBook.
We're walking in the listing presentation
If you would,
together.
oh yeah, dude, if you would
Fucking
even tap the charger and it would come out, the whole thing would fucking shut off.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd be at a listing, I'd have to plug it in because it didn't work without a battery.
Yeah.
Like that. whole
So I
deal.
got him
man.
one. But all jokes aside, it was like, man, I wanted to commemorate just my appreciation that you're letting me have half of something that you started, man. Like that's important. And we were also starting to figure out too, man, like when we were showing up, because the whole divide and conquer, there is some stuff to that. However, when you're together, it's not 1 + 1 = 2. Because like when him and I would do listing presentations together, and we're the same price, but we're doing it together, and he's got his subject matter expertise, and so do I. People felt like they were literally in a huddle of a football game, and we had a game plan. We made them feel a certain way.
We'd show up at the lender too.
Dude, out of all the listings we ever done, like we had
To a
one
sale.
person, we had one person not go with us because they had a family member that was in the game, and hey, cool. Everyone else, they just super appreciated the atmospherics of what we could present. So we started realizing, hey man, let's continue to triple down and crush together. And during the time in the car going everywhere gave us meeting time.
Yep.
To just crush
We were the
everything.
same.
So when people
Yep.
think like, no, you guys should divide because that'll equal more transactions. No, not necessarily. Like, and it was, again, it's like being able to pivot, feel momentum, understanding like where the strengths are, and rolling with it.
Yeah.
You know,
and you make each other better. You know,
100%.
we you know, the old saying like sharpen the saw, right? You know, and that's, I mean, even to this day, Alex and I, I'm sure you guys too, just, you know, we're talking through every single scenario, every single situation, what's happening in the market, the team, our leadership, how could we be better?
Yep.
And just, you know, climbing that mountain together and doing it with somebody, it's so
and
much
trust.
easier. Oh, big
and
time.
trust. Like if you got to walk away from a deal or from someone, he's trusted me with some decisions where we were building something and it just wasn't the right kind of feel.
Your
or certain
emotions
things.
can get in the way, right?
And I'm just like, hey man, we're pulling the plug on this. He goes, yeah, cool.
Yep.
Because he believes in me. It's not about the emotional response to like
Yeah.
the men's group we're going to build or whatever. Like if something's just not the right fit, it's like, hey man, pulling the plug on this. And he's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And
You know,
it's vice versa.
It's awesome that you bought him a laptop because that's like, we totally believe in that. That's something that we've done for so many people starting off with us. Like we bought them laptops, we bought them suits because
You want to make them feel.
we believed in them.
You want to commemorate like that relationship, and you want to make them feel like, hey man, we believe in you.
Yeah.
We believe in us helping you, and like we want you to feel the culture here, man. It's
And I think
important.
we've all felt that. Like that's what's nice about all coming from some form of real job before this. We've all felt what it feels like to be fucking crushing and not appreciated, you know, to
Yep.
be just a number. And it's like to have someone buy you a laptop, buy you a suit, do whatever. Like that's not happening in 24-hour fitness, you know?
Yeah.
No, and you do it without expectation, and even
That's
though,
the biggest part.
And we've done it, and we've grown a lot of people's careers, as I'm sure you have as well.
Yep.
And when we bring people on, depending on where they are in their life or what it is, they might need a new wardrobe.
Yep.
But you see potential in them.
Yeah.
They might have been moving furniture, or a bartender,
Yeah.
or a personal trainer, and
They just need a little nudge. They just need a little reservoir.
You're bringing them into this world, and you're showing them something what's possible.
Yeah.
But they need some tools, and so you're packing up their gear for them. Hey, this is what you're going to need to survive. And we've definitely been shit on. You know, we've taken people from like, oh, it is because this is part of it, right? And so like you've taken someone from, you know, not doing anything, and you buy them their laptop, and you buy them their suits, and you give them their first 4, 5, 6 deals.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now they're a fucking millionaire, and they want to go join EXP.
Yep.
And go do their thing.
I never took anybody from you.
No.
There were some people that did come. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And no, but it's not even like this like fight with them. It's more of like, I think it's more of like a compliment than anything. And you can look at it one of two ways, where it's like, you know, fuck you, and like you can get angry, or you can look at it as like the sensei that taught you how to go and fight.
Well, you hope that they're going to do
Kind of.
You hope that they're going to do
Kind of.
what you did for them.
Yeah, but here's the deal. It's not fucking okay. However,
Yeah.
when you give with no expectation, like I tell people, giving is one of the most selfish things you can ever do because how good it feels. Whether this guy wants to pretend like he did it all himself and fucking leave in not the best manner, man, I can't control that.
No.
But the way I was able to help you in the beginning, hey, that's for me too. That's not just for you. That's for me too. So,
No, I feel great.
but
about
I understand what you're
all
saying.
that
Like you
stuff.
got to frame it in your mind a certain way because it's like, hey, I can't control that guy's behavior, and if I see it for what it is, it's going to drag me down.
Yep.
And I'm in that place of like, hey, not excusing it, not cool, but that's the nature of the beast, and I
big
have
time.
zero control over that. And I was also doing that because I'm proud to be able to give back and help people, regardless of their response, and that's how I stay okay with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. You know, and
But like the whole sensei thing, like, hey, you know, that sensei will fucking stab you in the fucking
Well, yeah.
right in the fucking spleen. You don't bring that dude's fucking
We're still Master
broomstick back.
Splinter.
Yeah, he'll stab you right in the spleen.
We're still Splinter.
Yeah.
You know.
If you leave, you better sweep your way out and leave the fucking broom where you found it.
and you know, and that's, you know, the longer you're in this business, right? It's like people are going to come, they're going to go, and you know, I'm happy, and I just get fulfillment is like, hey, if
You're doing it for the right reasons.
if I was just a you know, a step in their road and it helped them get to the next step, I'm super satisfied with that, and I want nothing but success for everybody, you know, because there's so much opportunity out there, and you know, if we showed them what's possible, man, that's awesome, and it just helps me continue wanting to chase my journey of showing even more people what's possible.
So let's talk about it though, with like relationships, right? So has anyone ever like come back because they saw the light or they saw the oh shit and like
I think there's a lot of pride in that.
like how do you guys handle
relationships?
relationships, right? Like if someone leaves, not just in business, but like him and I have tapered away from certain relationships in life that just aren't the most positive, and like we are also now in a different bracket than we've ever thought we'd ever be in. You know, and like how do you guys handle relationships with the business side of it? And just like in your personal circle, how have you guys decided to handle certain relationships?
You know, it's been a weird couple years because when you go from, you know, being a broker that's doing okay to, you know, being the number one team at Compass and you eclipse, you know, 250 million and you're now like there's a target on you, and there are some people that will love it and think this is the most amazing thing that you could have ever done.
Yep.
There's a lot of like, oh man, these guys just spend $58,000 a month on Zillow. That's how.
Yeah, where does the money come from though? Because cool, true.
We know,
but where does it
what that
fucking come
takes.
from? Yeah,
you know, but like, and the risk and the balls you need to have to go and do that, and the skill you need to have to execute that play. But you know, we've definitely, you know, pulled away from a lot of people that just can't run as fast. You know, but there's never, you know, we as far as like, you know, relationships and maintaining them, I think that's the most important thing in the world is to stay, you know, humble. And
you guys have each other. The fact that you guys aren't breaking up, there's a lot of strength and a lot of like, there's a lot there that allows both of you, right? Because you're stronger together, right? Like a team, right?
Oh yeah,
100%.
Versus like when you're on your own and you're trying to figure out like your own with the relationships and like, God, that's not going for me, but I get this from that. Like, you know,
See,
like,
that's the part of people leaving that I 1000% fucking get. Because I'm not in their head. I don't have all this context, so I could look at it like, oh, I bought you this, da-da-da. But at the same time, man, I got a fucking partner that I 1000% trust. I've got this shit that I've built. I've got this shit that I built. Who am I to say that you don't think it's best for you in whatever
100%.
your whole situation is that you go over
100%.
somewhere else?
100%.
and like, man, what's really cool, curious to hear how you guys protect each other. You know, Eli, man, almost believed in me more than I believed in myself. Like I believed in myself, but he saw some qualities in me that I wasn't shedding enough light on, and he's very protective of my time. So like when people would want to venture off for certain things, he's like, hallelujah. Because, hey man, that's taking up your time, and your time is so much more valuable working on the business, not in the business or convincing anybody of anything in their own business when they're not producing. And hey, you're so much more valuable over here. And like, man, that was a gift that I get from him as far as like a little bit of, he's almost like a gatekeeper for me.
Yeah, same.
Protecting,
Well, dude,
right,
you'll
and
just
vice
give.
versa.
You'll fucking give to people, you know, like a lot. And I know, like, I think just from the outsider's perspective, you know, I just have that, I know how valuable every word out of your mouth is. And yeah, and when you see that going in this direction of, man, it's just not the receptacle for that, you know? Yeah. It's like, man.
Yeah, you
It's
do.
good to have that.
It is, and it's the yin and yang, and everyone in our team will say that because we're so different. Because I'm very, very similar to you in a sense of I'll bring ideas and different things, and he'll go, does that net us any return on what we're trying to do? You know, how long is this? And he will bring like the logical, like building block mentality.
Yeah,
and I truly believe that we wouldn't be where we are without that, because I would have been distracted.
Well, and on the flip side, man, like we can be so analytical sometimes. It's like a lot of times, man, there's something like there's not a direct ROI on it.
But it works.
Long term, man, it fucking works.
Yeah.
And it's the blend of having your guys' talent
Yeah.
of like the building blocks of it, but then also like the creative cowboy
Yep,
shit.
you
where,
need them
like,
both.
You're like, I know Oop-de-Oop didn't work the one time. They showed it in the fucking movie.
Oh yeah.
But it does work. Remember that movie, Friday Night Lights?
Oh yeah. Run it again.
You're like, Oop-de-fucking-oop. I feel like you and I are out running Oop.
That was Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues,
was
yeah. I feel like
Varsity
you and I are out
Blues,
running Oop-de-Oops, and these guys are like the head coaches.
No,
that keep
he's
shit
kept
together.
me. He's kept me in line in that sense, you know, of keeping my head down and truly just like on to the next deal, the next client, the past relationship. And now we're finally at a point this year, and this is what we're so excited about is, you know, and I think, I mean, being on this podcast today is really exciting for us. I mean, we're going to eventually, in the very near future, within the coming weeks, have our own podcast, have some things. And we've never we've never put ourselves out there online. And so we feel like we now have a story to tell, and we can truly go out and inspire the masses as opposed to, you know, the small group of, you know, 40
and as you
folks
should, like if we don't do it, if we don't do it, who is? And this
Right.
is something that I get on people in the fitness world or certain things, or just in the social media world. They'll be talking trash, not in a bad way, but there'll be some people out there that are smoking mirrors and they're not legit.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll hear some of my friends that are legit talk about how that person's not legit. And I'm like, hey, look, man, if you don't step up and start showing how it's really done, everyone else that's looking for direction in this world, whether it's motivation or how-tos or whatever it may be, if all of you real ones don't say a fucking word, then that's all people have to grasp onto. So if you if you have integrity with what you do and how you approach it, and this is where him and I take a lot of pride. Hey, man, if I can't speak to it, I won't fucking speak to it. But whatever we're validated, right? Like certain accomplishments we've had in real estate, certain accomplishments we've had with our podcast and different things. If I can show accomplishment and I've got integrity with how I want to help you and build, and I feel like I can speak to what we're speaking to, I speak to it. And if I can't, then I fucking won't. And this is where people get vulnerable. Yeah. You become uber successful in the lane, and then you think you should be talking politics or a ton of other shit. That's fine. That's your life. And it's not just people who talk politics. They'll start talking about all sorts of stuff, unsolicited marriage advice and whatever the fuck. And it's like, hey, get you a better circle that will smack you. You're being silly. Just because you're uber awesome right here does not give you permission to you're now a fucking professional, all these other lanes you should be speaking to. And I think for us, and that's also why having a partnership is so good, because there's accountability there that, hey, if I was getting out of my lane, and I'm like, for example, even in business, if I start giving advice on my opinion on how you grow a $200 million business, it's all hypothetical because I don't have a $200 million business. And if you start speaking hypothetical to an opinion, you're vulnerable because you could be speaking wrong. And that's where like people will, versus like, man, there's plenty that you guys are great at. Why the fuck wouldn't you? And if you guys are going to step up and do it, who the fuck is? You know, and what's super cool about you guys doing that is like, let's also talk about brand. You guys look like $1 million. I'm just $1 million. Okay.
Oh, dude.
Probably like from all the, you know, money poured into me through the government, right? Like fucking, right? Like getting beat up over the years.
You couldn't give up the green, I see.
Dude, it's my insecurity blanket, right? You know, but what's cool, man, is like, and this is something that we speak to a lot. Like you guys are super comfortable in your suits and you love it. And we've never bad talked them. It's always been like when we talk to people about their brand, you just got to be you. You got to make real estate fit you. You don't fucking fit real estate. Or you're going to get in line with all the other sheep, and in 10 years, you might make a buck. If you want the fast pass at Disneyland or whatever it may be, like you've really got to be aggressive with who you are and double down and like not just be a commodity like everyone else. But I feel like a lot of people try to present themselves like you guys do. But you guys have always been the ones that just genuinely feel like you're in the right brand with what you're doing and how you guys decide to dress. And has there ever been any conversation about your brand and what you guys look like and how you guys want your agents to look as well? I think me walking into your office like this, you'd be like, "Hey, I love you, but you look like the Salvation Army."
Well, what's funny about this is we were talking about this on the phone driving over here because I was like, I bet Eli and Will are going to give us shit for wearing suits.
Never, and unless it's in a positive way, because I genuinely when I compliment you guys about it, it's not sarcasm, it's not facetious.
Hey,
it's like
I can still pick you up in this suit.
I know, bro, but I brought guns today, so I'm gonna shoot you. But no, I'm serious, man. It's never been condescending. It's always been like, man, I applaud it, and you guys do so well with it. But so you were talking about this before you got here.
No, but it's when we first started our careers, we come from, you know, like with the way our dads grew up in business and the way that old like Mad Men mentality, right? You know, the Wolf of Wall Street, and for us, it was more of a vision of where we wanted to go, what clients we wanted to attract, and what we felt comfortable in. So I always say, you know, like, you know, you get up, you dress up, you show up, you know, and so when we first started, like one of our first investments when we first got our first couple checks, other than the like old suits that we had in our closet for funerals and weddings, you know, we went and we invested. It was like with Tom James or something.
Oh yeah.
And the lady came through and overcharged us for these, you know, subpar suits. And we like, you know,
good now.
So, but when we put the suit on, and whether we were showing a $250,000 condo in North Aurora or we were going to go show a $2 million home, we felt good with what we were doing. And we felt like we're going to get there. We're going to do this. And we looked at the Ryan Serhants, the Frederick Eklunds, and the people that were going and doing things. And so it was more of a vision of, you know, this is where we want to go. And when you show up to meet somebody, you know, that's a $4 million home that runs a, you know, several $1 billion hedge fund in Manhattan.
Yeah.
You know, you never know, you know, if you show up in your t-shirt and your flip-flops because you think you're a badass realtor and
the problem is you think you are.
yeah, you think
Because I love where you're going with this, because Ela and I have clients that are $3-4 million.
yeah, 100%.
The bottom line is you got to show up as yourself, and it's got to bleed, and you got to be great at what you do no matter what. And here's what's so cool. And this is like, if people would wonder, like, why would we have you guys on the podcast? And like, hey, there's plenty to eat. And with Ela and I, and with Ela and I, like with our YouTube channel, with you guys and your brand, people have an opportunity to see us and know, like, and trust us. And the people that gravitate to how we are uber excited, and we do a great job. And the people that appreciate who you guys are, or they're going for that look, beyond the look, they appreciate the good fucking job. And this is like why we want you guys on in the first place. This is why we were joking. We're like, hey, I would go back to Mile High Stadium, and throw an event with fucking you guys.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, but aren't you guys from like different companies? Look, dude, shut the fuck up if that's what you're thinking. Because like, you're just, you're already behind the curve, and just getting agents to understand it's the agent that's empowered. Right,
Yeah,
everybody that's trying to like, all the lenders that are trying to throw this or throw that, or like your brokerage, your managing broker, it's like, it's no disrespect to anyone. However, the people you get around and leveraging and betting on yourself and learning how to be the best version of yourself, backed with a professional level of competency at the actual craft, that's what fucking wins, bro. That's what fucking wins.
And that's still, I'll still say that about EXP. Like there's, like it wasn't too long ago, man. You go back maybe 2 years
Eli said,
on our podcast, like,
man, fuck
EXP.
I saw that episode.
Yeah. Well, and man, I'll still stand by that, because if you're around the wrong people over there, anywhere, if you're around the wrong people anywhere, still fuck that place.
Yeah.
Like it's not the place that gets you the success. It 1,000% is not.
And what's fun is like, regardless of how Eli and I are dressed, how you guys are dressed, it is literally a real-time living example of there's 1,000 ways to win.
100%.
But you will not win without having a professional level practitionership. And then once there, when it comes to building your brand, that's where like, hey, I'm a professional. I'm great at what I do. Okay, how am I building my brand? How do I want that to bleed? And like, that's where like, I love how you guys have committed to that.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, how does that bleed through your company?
I mean, but on Sundays, I mean, I look Salvation Army too, and I'm with lots of clients on Sundays.
See how he confirms.
There you go.
I appreciate that he confirms the Salvation Army. However,
God
like,
bless.
I feel like I'm not being transparent to people, because this is probably a $1,000 jacket. I got a $20,000 watch on, and I got $900 shoes.
That's the best. That's
I
the
pay
best
a lot
right
to
there.
look like this, just like you fuckers do.
That's
So I
the
feel
best.
like
Your outfit's more expensive than mine.
See, so I feel like on my own podcast, like I gotta be true. I gotta be real about some shit. Okay, so I pay a lot of fucking money to look like a bum.
It is a brand. It is a brand that we've established, and we embody it, and it's not fake. You know, we love it.
It is 100% you guys.
And when you look good, you feel good. And
you feel good, you play good.
Yeah, and when you're in it breeds confidence. And we always say this every time: of throw a suit on and just go get a cup of coffee, and tell me, do you feel better about that than maybe your hoodie on?
And these fucking shoes hurt. See, I'm a pain in your ass, bro.
Will's not going to work out, man. Let's not bring him on.
He sells a lot. He sells a lot.
But he's.
You guys are gonna bring me on your podcast. You're like, all right, cool, because everybody that should not be with us is gonna go to him.
That's hilarious. That's
We're gonna save a lot of fucking time.
We'll take all them ragamuffins.
We encourage our team to invest in who they want to be.
Yeah.
Whether it's the digital side of their world, their tech, their computers, their whatever it is, you need to invest in this. And so a lot of it is wardrobe as well. What were you doing before this? You don't have any, the attire.
Yep.
You can get a lead from us that it is $2 million in Cherry Hills, and you don't know who you're meeting.
Yep.
So do you go to an interview? How do you go to your interviews?
And this is where I agree with you. This is where I do agree with you, because him and I, the way we built our business through YouTube, right? People get to watch a ton of our content and have an opportunity to know and trust us.
You are.
Yep.
They're seeing a product.
They're a
they're
fan.
making a decision.
Yep.
They're your fans.
Yep.
But if you're going through something where like, hey, if it's lead based or
Blind dates.
seer based, if it's blind dates, you're never wrong with the suit.
Yep.
You could be wrong with shoes that don't look
T-shirt and
expensive.
jeans. Yeah.
Like,
Yep, yep,
no,
yep.
See,
I'm serious.
But
I'm
you're
serious.
clean though, right?
And
It's
that's his big thing is
it's
hygiene.
An image. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yep.
serious. Like when Eli, we've talked
Don't
about
have a
our
wrinkled
wrinkles.
fucking shirt.
Hey, like, see
Yeah.
how he's
Yeah.
dressed? Hey, if you're going to have a V-neck or nice shirt,
Yeah.
it can't be wrinkled. don't have dirty shoes.
Yep.
Have nice pants. So
Wash your car.
Yep.
Yeah. No, dude, you're right. You're right.
And I live by this quote, and I say it all the time. In our team meetings, everything affects everything.
Yep.
You know what I say?
Smallest detail to the biggest detail.
Everything matters all the time.
Yeah.
Same type of shit.
Yep.
So before you guys get out of here, because I'm sure you guys got to be bouncing around 1 or so or 110, right?
I'm already late. I text him.
He's
till
fucked.
But let's take a couple minutes before you guys get out of here. Let's talk about what you guys are doing now. So you mentioned having a podcast. You've mentioned kind of like coming out more in the open. So as far as like your brand and where you guys are taking it and some goals that you guys have.
Let's talk about this coming out part.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Like, what do the next couple of years look for you guys?
Bring him out.
You know, this is and
I had a more Richard Simmons.
Well, no one cares no one really cares what you have to say until
I know.
until you have
The
something to
motherfucker,
say.
you done a lot. You can say some
So
shit.
now we have something
There
to
you
say.
go.
Right?
Hey,
Right.
in this house, in this penthouse, secrets don't make friends. You're on the show now. You gotta.
Oh, they still make
Tell
friends.
them all your secrets.
They
Let's
always
go.
make friends.
I know, I'm learning.
No, but we have a story to tell, and so, and we feel it's very inspiring, and where we've come from, and the day one $0, $400 of us going in and betting on ourselves, and so we want to now turn the corner, and in this digital world where it's going, we understand that. We understand where the business is, and we don't need to do this ninja approach anymore. We're going to be very strategic about it, but we also want to, and start inspiring more people.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of fulfillment in taking somebody from ground zero to the $130,000
To the penthouse.
Dude,
increase.
awesome.
Right?
And to me, it's like for us, both of us, we're aligned in this vision of real success is not defined by us all making $1 million last year.
No.
Real success is defined by how many people did you bring with you. So you're doing well, and that's a big conversation, and like going off on our own. Let's go do the Justin Timberlake. Let's go do a solo act. Let's go be Beyonce. Right? We can go make a couple $1 million next year, and it would be he and I with a badass assistant right here, and some transaction coordination, some marketing.
But
we
no
would do
one
just
would
fine.
feel, no one would be influenced.
But no one would, nobody. And so we would feel alone, even with each other. And so the goal in this next year is and I'm sure you can keep going with it as well, Chris, is to start letting people know what's possible.
Dude, I love that.
That's it.
I love it.
And to raise the bar and say, this is what we did last year. We did 250 million. We did $250 million in real estate, and the guys we're talking to are doing $1 billion in real estate. So we're 25% of the way there.
Yep.
And I'm glad you guys see
can't
that.
you can't go alone.
No.
You don't get to $1 billion by yourself.
No.
You've got a massive infrastructure you have to build, and you need to genuinely bring people with you, and you're pulling them. And
It's a big part of it.
sometimes they're too heavy, and that's where Chris.
Don't look at me and say too heavy, and then say that's why. Fuck you, bro.
That's why Chris picks them up.
Man,
The only reason the only positive to you manhandling me like that was like, oh, maybe I'm lighter than I think.
Yeah.
Why do I even need a scale at my house? I'm not even that fucking heavy.
Man, I pulled it up at our team meeting the other day. I don't know if you guys saw that Snoop Dogg clip where he's talking about closing the gap. Well, he talks about, here's the gap.
Yeah.
And it's not about people, you coming. People need to close the gap to climb up to you. Otherwise, you come down and you can't do that.
Can't do
so
it.
Nope. I got to keep chasing. And
Because you're closing the gap to who's above you.
Exactly.
Bottom line.
Exactly.
Yep. And this is for everyone's own ambition and own framework and own
Yes.
vision of who they want to be.
100%.
Level up.
And that's like, we did $250 million last year, but it's January and we're back at, ground one.
I know, and here's what I love about you saying that, because now I throw my little hook in, like, hey man, if there's revenue share, you're not that there's no actual start over. Our January was bigger than the other one because it's been growing every month with that stuff and busting balls. The bottom line is
I
like,
don't want to talk about my stock options and all that stuff. We won't get into that.
well,
This
ours
was just a long setup.
no, and our stock, at least the stock that we have stock options in are ROI positive.
Hey, we haven't reported our earnings.
I'm busting balls. The bottom line is,
I
man,
mean,
like,
we can talk about that.
the bottom line is like just,
That's funny.
man, like just navigating, just pivoting where you need to and leveling up and having fun. And no, man, it's been fun having
and
you guys here.
talking about it.
Yeah.
And what I'm so excited for you guys, because I feel like modestly, we've been pressuring you guys.
100%.
We
Get
want
on
to
the
say
fucking
thank you.
podcast.
Yeah,
Like,
big time.
fucking come out here. And again, like, I love when you guys say, hey, we want to tell our story, because even as you guys, as successful as you are, like with him and I, like we're definitely crushing a lot of the social media and YouTube or whatever. But It's not fancy. We're not creating some smoke and mirrors. No, we're just documenting what we're doing.
And you
don't have to be overly creative and create this theatrical
You guys
bullshit.
just said the same thing that he said
Yeah.
earlier today. It's there's a
just doing
difference
it.
between bragging and posting your Lambo and doing your stuff, right?
And
And there's
documenting
another
the
thing of
process.
like documenting that this is how I live and these are the steps.
And
I've
here's
taken
how
to
I
get
got here.
Yeah,
And I'm going to show it to you every day.
yeah. Teach you, not show you. Look at me. Look at me. This is what we do.
I'm going to show you what's possible. Here's the
For sure.
Lambo, but here's how we did it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and it's just, I think something we always talk about and just a lens, like live your life through is like, you got to be a good person too.
Yep.
You know, be a good person because, you know, the world feels like it's short on good people lately.
Yep.
You know, so if we can inspire other people to be good people too.
And
you
let
know,
the
while we're
people who want to
climbing.
be around, and let the ones that don't. Like
You can't let the loudest people be the assholes.
No.
You know,
And that's been a problem through COVID. We won't get into that or anything, but like just with politics and COVID or just people that are on social media, like, oh, that guy's fake or that guy. You're right. Man, I believe you. And you're one of the most legit guys I know. But you keep your fucking mouth shut.
Yep.
So like, hey man, like there's an opportunity
sure.
for like guys that are really doing it the right way. Like, hey man, document what you're doing, show what's possible, give people
Yep.
permission. Because dude, when I was first starting out, there is something when you're in that grind and you're lacking a little bit of confidence and you're kind of lost with your identity, seeing what's possible and then watching someone do something that also gives you permission to like get out there and do it too. You know what I mean? And like that was something like that bled from you.
And
And when I watched you do Fitness on the Rocks, I'm like, oh, hey, this is baller, but he's also making pivots literally at the fucking event. Oh, he's not this perfect person. Oh, there is no, I got it figured out. You never have it all figured out. And it reminds me of like being on the street as in law enforcement or going on deployments. You never have it all figured out.
No.
But if you're fundamentally sound and if you take quitting off the table and you're betting on yourself and you have conviction with what you're doing, you're figuring it out in real time and you're taking action. You're not laying in the back on the fucking stands Monday morning quarterbacking something.
And a big thing too, I think that's big, and we'll, you know, before we get out of here, is like the whole mental illness, depression, and anxiety, and everything everyone's going through. Is we also really want to touch on, like, there's so much shit that we go through, that we don't share, and that you're battling with, whether it be addiction or you can't lose weight or you're drinking too much or you're thinking too much, or so there's a lot of stuff that we also want to start guiding people through. That here's some things that we've done, here's some steps that we've taken to, you know, combat that stuff, because everyone is fucking depressed, everyone's stressed, everyone has anxiety.
And this is why this is why it's also great to have relationships with you guys, because you and I have had personal conversations about our own personal lives or things that we're doing, and being able to lean on a guy like, oh, hey, you've gone through that too.
Yep.
But I see you winning and I see you successful. Like, oh man, you have hard days too. It just lets you like, oh, okay, it's normal. Like you're not some fucking
okay.
weirdo, and it just gives you the encouragement
It's
to like,
okay.
hey man, I've tried this. I'm doing this. You know, like it's important.
I think with social media too, like, you know, this generation and, you know, people, they see this huge mountain that they need to overcome. And I even think about like my own story. I mean, there was days where like, I didn't believe in myself. Like, I'm not worthy. I can't do this. You know, I'll never make it. I'll never be as talented as Alex. And it's just every day taking that step forward. And there's, I forget what book it is, but it's, you know, it's about like a boy, a horse.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's looking at a forest. And
The next step, man.
The next step.
The next
You
step.
know, you can't, this forest is like blocking your whole path that you need to get through, but you can't get through the forest without first taking the step in front of you.
And you got to take the step. And if you're
gotta
having a
take
day
it.
where you don't believe in yourself, like, hey, that's cool, but that doesn't mean you can't go to practice.
Yeah.
Hey, just because you don't believe in yourself today doesn't mean you're not making the calls.
Well,
Yeah.
No. Like, don't let your emotions have majority vote in whether you do something or not.
100%.
You got to keep putting in the work, because you're going to have some of those days early on. But the better and better you do with the workload and execution, it's going to flip, and you're going to have more days where you're believing in yourself than you're not.
And your belief grows.
And you'll feel your
Yeah.
next chapter. Do you guys? Last question. I'll let you guys get out of here.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel your next chapter? Context on this. Him and I feel our next chapter, because the second you get to a point where you have a day where you're like, man, this is a big jump. Man, I don't know if I believe in myself to grab that. You go, oh, I'm slightly not believing in myself, which means we're getting ready for the next
green
fucking
light.
lead.
That's it. Green
and
light.
we literally feel our fucking chapters,
Yep.
dude.
Oh my God.
Oh man, that's when you know you're eclipsing something really cool. And,
Yeah.
and we just went through this. We're doing some big moves, and
Just
we haven't
say
felt
it.
we
Stop
have
being such a
we're just dumping money back into our product.
You got a show? You gonna be in
all of
Hollywood?
it.
What do you got?
No Hollywood, no show.
Damn it.
We're investing in brick and mortar and dirt, and
shit.
we're pulling the Grant Cardone, and we're dumping everything we have into.
Oh, yeah.
I remember you guys speaking about that.
We're getting
It's
uncomfortable
fucking
again.
terrifying.
Yeah.
And because we see this and we're like, okay, well, if we do this, we're right back to where we started 6 years ago.
Yep.
Today.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
we're not, but we are. We are, because now we have to go sell real estate again. If I don't have a closing, if you don't have a closing,
Yeah.
we're
That's such
fucked.
a good place to be, though,
And
bro.
so
yeah.
you're like, but you also have this whole other arm that you're creating,
Yep.
and you're not
And the
just
timing of it and the momentum.
Oh, man.
Momentum is a real thing. And if you're not doing it, hey, dude, that's not always there tomorrow. People think an opportunity is
No.
there. It's not.
we can't let it
Just
go.
like on this home that I'm getting. Hey, man, like I'm qualified. You don't just get to go buy shit if you're not.
Oh yeah.
But is it a bigger stretch than I wanted?
yeah.
Yes, but the way I can create events there,
Yep.
and have that property becoming an income producing property
Yep.
with how we can attract agents and train them there, like, and it's like, and the way I'm able to obtain this property is an incredible opportunity, and things like that are not always there. Grow.
Yeah, grow big time. And I think about that all the time about you have to force yourself to be uncomfortable, especially as an entrepreneur. Otherwise, you're just going to be stagnant. You're not going to build that belief. And with this development company that we're launching and building,
gonna be cool.
Some really cool homes. I'm sure you'll own one.
Dude, maybe.
Come knocking on your door.
You guys ever want to do something, we're fucking game to sit down and have that conversation.
Yeah.
We just love balling out and doing fun shit. And next time we do a podcast with you guys back, you'll probably be speaking about that. And we'll all get a little uncomfortable. I'm going to throw you my jacket. You're going to throw me a suit.
Done.
We'll be in suits. You guys will be...
Nice.
It'll be
I'm
fucking
more of like a
fun.
Lululemon type guy. Just
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, that's good.
Baggy sweats, baggy.
Yeah,
hoodie.
hell yeah.
We're gonna take you out. We're gonna take you out back and get you a little dirty. No, man, we appreciate you guys coming
Thanks,
by.
gents.
Sure.
100%. And yeah, we're
Thank
excited
you
for you
guys.
guys to launch. Whenever you guys do, I'm sure we'll be talking about if we can ever help with anything like that.
Yep.
But when you guys launch it, we can give you guys a shout out on ours, just so people that listen to ours and
We'll have
appreciate
you
it, they
on.
want to listen to yours.
Yeah, we'll have you on.
Well, we can also share that episode. So when we're on yours, we can just share that episode
Nice.
over to ours. That way we can throw some of you guys
That's
away
what
as well.
this is all about. That's why we're here.
100%. man.
Collaborate.
Super appreciate you guys. Listen
Thanks,
to some
gentlemen.
rap on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us on.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank
See you
you.
next week. Day $1 0.
We're out of here.
Out of here.
From nothing, I can never take a day off.
That was great.